All right, let's just jump right in. What if the entire history of life on Earth wasn't some random accident? What if it was all a deliberate act, like cosmic gardening? Today, we are diving deep into the wild story at the heart of Dolores Cannon's book, Keepers of the Garden. And trust me, it's a journey that could totally rewrite our origin story as we know it.
Just let that sink in for a second. This idea, it's the foundation for everything we're about to get into. And it's not just some nice poetic phrase, you know? It's suggesting that we have family, not just here on Earth, but way out there, in the stars. So, really, what would that even mean if we weren't alone but actually part of this huge cosmic community?
Now that is a seriously mind-bending question, right? And believe it or not, it's the exact mystery that hypnotherapist Dolores Cannon just accidentally stumbled upon. So, you ready? Let's follow her down this rabbit hole.
Okay, so how in the world did a story like this even come to light? Well, it wasn't dug up in some ancient text, and it wasn't spotted through a telescope. Nope, it came from exploring the deepest, most hidden parts of the human mind.
And this is the tool she used, past life regression. You know, it's a hypnosis technique that's designed to unlock memories from your previous lives. But in this specific case, that journey back in time, well, it took a very unexpected detour, way, way off planet. Now, the person guiding these sessions was none other than Dolores Cannon. We're talking about a true pioneer who spent 40 decades, that's 40 years, mapping the subconscious. You'd think she'd seen it all by then. But then, she met a guy named Phil.
So this is Phil. And you gotta understand, he wasn't some UFO enthusiast looking for aliens. He was just a regular young guy who was pretty sure this was his one and only life here on Earth. His subconscious, though? Oh, it was about to tell a completely, and I mean completely, different story.
So, as Phil went deeper and deeper under hypnosis, these memories started to surface. But they weren't from ancient Rome or medieval England or any time in Earth's history. No, they were from a place much, much farther away.
And look, this wasn't just some fuzzy vision he was having. It was a memory just soaked in emotion. He could literally feel this profound burden of sorrow over a mission that failed, mourning for these scientists who died on some distant, desolate world. This wasn't a story he was just telling. It felt like a tragedy he was actually reliving, right there in the moment.
And then, from that super emotional memory, his subconscious just completely shifted gears. It went from this tragic story to something highly technical, describing the very spaceship that took him on that mission, and in absolutely stunning detail.
I mean, he's talking about touch-sensitive controls, around two-level design, and a really unique power source, a specially shaped crystal that could focus cosmic energies. But here's the real kicker. His memory came with a huge warning. This very same crystal technology, when it was misused, that's supposedly what destroyed Atlantis. So this wasn't just a memory of cool alien tech. It was a serious cautionary tale for all of us.
But it turns out Phil's personal memories were really just the tip of the iceberg. They were the key that unlocked a much, much bigger story. A story about the grand cosmic purpose of planet Earth itself.
And this quote is really the central idea of the whole book. The idea that Earth wasn't some cosmic accident. It was a garden, one that was prepared, cultivated, and made ready for planting. Which, of course, leads to the big question, who were the gardeners?
So the process that was described through Phil's memories was incredibly methodical. Think of it like a project plan, but on a cosmic scale. Step 1, survey the land, check if it's viable. Step 2, bring in the seeds, the very first cells of life. And finally, step 3, plant the crop in a bunch of different places. This wasn't random at all. It was like cosmic architecture.
So what were these gardeners actually like? Well, their society is described as this incredible vision of harmony. I'm talking no politicians, no police, because they just aren't needed. Leadership is chosen by consensus, not by grabbing for power. It's such a stark contrast to our own world, right? And maybe, just maybe, it's a glimpse of what we could one day become.
But, you know, even the most perfect garden can get weeds. And in this story, diseases were never part of Earth's original blueprints. They were like an invasive species, an alien virus that hitched a ride on a meteor, introducing a kind of suffering the gardeners never, ever intended for this place.
Okay, and this is where this huge cosmic history lesson suddenly becomes deeply, deeply personal. Because this story, it doesn't just end in the distant past. It supposedly continues right here, right now, with people living all around us.
They're called starseeds. The idea is that these are souls, like Phil, who actually volunteer for what has to be a super difficult mission: to incarnate here on Earth, live a human life, and help humanity evolve from the inside out.
So the whole point here isn't to be constantly looking up at the sky for spaceships. It's to look around you. The book suggests these souls, they're everywhere, living totally ordinary human lives, subtly working to help our world move forward.
So you might be wondering, how does a soul that's brand new to Earth even cope with all this? Well, the book introduces this really fascinating concept called imprints. Instead of having their own actual past life memories on Earth, they can kind of download memories from the Akashic records. Think of it like a cosmic library of every experience ever. This gives them a sense of familiarity to help them fit in, and it also offers a pretty wild explanation for why so many different people feel like they were, say, Cleopatra. Maybe they're all just tapping into the same powerful memory imprint.
So, up to this point, it's a pretty nice story, right? We've got these benevolent gardeners and helpful starseeds. But as Phil's sessions went on, a much darker, much more unsettling reality started to bleed through.
At first, this was Phil's consistent memory of the beings we know as the Greys. He actually described them as, and I'm quoting here, real nice and very loving. But that warm, fuzzy feeling of safety, it turns out that was just a screen memory, a kind of mental block hiding something far, far more terrifying.
And as Dolores Cannon carefully guided him deeper past those mental blocks, a whole second, hidden set of memories just erupted. These were memories so traumatic that his own mind had buried them deep down, purely for his own protection.
And this is where the classic abduction story that so many people report really emerges. We're talking a horrifying dream of a praying mantis-like creature, memories of being taken by those small gray beings onto a ship, undergoing this cold physical examination. It completely flies in the face of the loving gardener's story, right? And yet, even in his terror, he somehow understood their purpose. They were gathering biological samples for a new beginning after some kind of predicted catastrophe. So was this horrible violation, but one with a strangely logical and still terrifying purpose behind it.
And all of this leaves us with the book's ultimate, lingering question. Given our incredible capacity for both love and, well, destruction, and all this complex attention we're supposedly getting from beyond, what is our real role in this cosmic garden? Are we the flowers they intended to grow, or have we become the weeds?